is a call away, and they're already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
The dog days of summer are here. Is your yard in need of a touch-up as we head into the fall season? August, September, and October are the months for aeration, and Penner Sprinkler and Lawn is the place to call to get the job done right. If you're noticing any issues with your sprinkler system through the hot summer months, they're always a call away, and they're already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town, and get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this, my actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this, they actually say it's called service.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My sister and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time for the Jay Foreman Postgame Show.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
A look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinnie Creekout, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
Here's Fuente dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome. A welcome sight, Nick. Finally.
Jay, it's a lot more enjoyable to do these things after a Nebraska victory, my man.
Yes, sir. The Jay Foreman After Game Show. The first one, right? Look, it must be the new studio.
It has to be.
Right? Matt Rule comes to his first home game. A new home for him, right?
Yeah.
Officially. New home for us at 93.7 The Ticket at 1040 O Street. We're looking out here, looking at his real to 3. Really, the short story is the defense played really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
As they should. And so you can't fault them for it. I'm not going to knock them for who they played, right? I'm just gonna be happy that they actually handled their business. The offense, look, that first drive, you knew everybody was like, "Oh,
hey,
that's the starter for the rest of his career." And then, you know what? The one thing I did like to see, obviously, I like it that we won is to see how the offense and Heinrich Harburg would handle some adversity. I think he handled himself pretty well. Obviously, there's a lot more that he needs to get, significantly better at. But he rebounded well, and I think, really the most important drive was, I think it's the 13 or 14 play drive to get up 21-3. And then you started to see the, Gabe Irvin battering ram. He scored, and then you saw Anthony Grant kind of set him up. The two-headed monster. Ramir got a little hurt, dinged up because I think he was in street clothes.
He was.
So then look, we said it after the first week, right? We said it, sooner or later we're going to need Anthony Grant. Here we are two weeks later, and he did a really good job. When he was running and spinning off blockers and trying to get an extra yard or two. I saw him trying to protect the ball, which is obviously something, look, you got to learn from your lessons. I don't think he was traveling to Colorado. So overall, I think it was good. I think it was much needed, right? And it was adverse circumstances. You go up there and embarrass yourself, come back home, must win. What are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, I would say this. I mean, regarding Anthony Grant, these 2 weeks are important for him, right? You're not playing the bulk of the Big Ten schedule. You're not in the gauntlet, right, of some of the best defenses that are in the country or in the Big Ten. Most notably in 2 weeks now, Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Most notably, right? And Nebraska's going to need, as we talked about 2 weeks ago, they're going to need all three of those guys, Ramir Johnson, Gabe Irvin, and Anthony Grant in some capacity. And this was a perfect opportunity for him to build some trust, not only through practices throughout the week, but in game situations. Build trust and show that you're capable of holding on to the ball. And I thought he did that pretty well. For Heinrich Harburg, here's the thing, Jay. He did exactly what he could do today. And finishing 14 of 24 through the air, 158 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and most notably, and probably most importantly, 0 interceptions. He also added close to 100 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
Right.
Did it always look pretty? No. But what did he do after tonight's performance? He forced him to have a conversation.
Oh, yeah. They're having conversations right now because the many reporters that are going to be, asking Matt Rule and the players, they're going to force the conversation.
Yeah.
But the best part about it is, like you said, he's forcing them to have a conversation either amongst themselves or within the staff and obviously throughout the whole team. The one thing I really also want to give him credit for is he was 14 of 24, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know there was at least 3 catchable drops.
There were.
And so he was pretty accurate. I like the game plan with him. It wasn't even the RPO stuff. Even the first run, remember he had it off tackle where he got the first down on the left side going towards
some of an option play, which by the way, Nebraska did not come out well.
Right.
I mean, if you were in the stadiums or watching on TV, it was, oh no, why Nebraska had to call a timeout on their first play because Billy Kemp was late in getting into it. This might be a long game, but ultimately enough.
Walked it right down there. He had kind of like that. It was like kind of a triple option.
Yeah.
But he ran up the back of Anthony Grant, but then he was able to catch the edge. So, look, a lot of times it doesn't have to be pretty. Look, everybody, lauded, Coach White when he said, listen, we got a lot of guys, starting out A, skipping B, getting to C, but we got a lot of guys getting to the ball. And we'll talk about the defense here in a second. But for Heinrich Hardberg, for the offense, for them to be able to rebound, it's a good job. Now, we also have to be aware of we need to immediately get back to work because we have not solved anything. To be honest with you, after the first drive, Northern Illinois dictated the line of scrimmage. They punched us in the face as far as pass protection and run game. And I'm sure their defensive coordinator, me being a defensive guy, I'm putting it on myself in the defense for the fact that we gave up that play action pass on when Thomas Fedoni made it 14-3. That's a simple play. You can't have four guys bite on a run fake. They hadn't been running the ball at a good clip before. That was kind of like, because if you can get into halftime 7-3, it's different going in 14-3 when you're kicking off.
Yeah, I think, we're and as we'll talk about, it wasn't always pretty, right? Heinrich Hardberg missed some options, he may have chose to run with it or try to escape the pocket too quickly. Part of that falls on the offensive line. The offensive line, Jay, and correct me if I'm wrong, was this the worst game the offensive line had this season?
Yeah, well,
I think from an urgency standpoint, when you look at the way
sense of urgency.
There was a moment there, mid to late in the second quarter where it was bad. And I looked at, I was looking around and sitting up from the press box, and I was like, they're not getting any push. It was like it was a standstill, if not offensive linemen were getting pushed into the backfield.
Yeah, there was a push,
which then hurts Gabe Irvin, Anthony Grant, and the rest of the offense.
Yeah, I think from a sense of urgency, attention to detail, getting on your guys, this is by far the worst start.
It was serviceable up until this point. Obviously, they had some bad spots, but they also had some bright spots. But it was nowhere near to as bad or incompetent as maybe at times last year.
And to be honest with you, even the first drive that they scored, it wasn't pretty. They were just, Northern Illinois just kind of ran themselves out of a couple of plays, and we hit a big pass play, which was legit.
Was great. Pre-snap coverage. It was cover two, deep part of the middle of the field is going to be open. Great. They ran Thomas Fedoni on a seam up the middle to kind of clear everything out, and then Marcus Washington on a little deep post down the middle.
Look, and it was on time and on target.
Yeah,
and so you give the offense credit for that. So you got to give the offense line credit for it. But overall, the first half. Let's not get in the second half of the second quarter.
Yeah.
The first half was abysmal for them. You're backed up. You kind of have like a counter play there. Bryce Benhart literally just has to take a step inside, and nobody was even there. So you got the outside defensive end. You're late and just kind of, two-hand touched him. He comes back and hits your quarterback. Look, if Northern Illinois had any athletes up front, you pick that up and score. It's a totally different ball game. Luckily, the defense came in and held them to 3. So, those are the things that I'm sure the coaches are harping on. Now, look, they're saying this. Let's celebrate this, or let's obviously be reasonable.
Yeah.
Not get in trouble tonight, but let's celebrate it. 24-hour rule. I think they get together tomorrow. We have got to lock back in even harder, because the thing that I think, and I'll say this about the offensive line, but I don't want to be like Debbie Downer. The thing that worries me is if I'm an offensive lineman, right? And all week you're talking about Northern Illinois and their front. The head coach said it from the very beginning. Best front they've played, this, and now he might have been over-exaggerating, but he said it. I'm taking it. I'm not trying to steal from Dion. I'm taking it personal. We should take it personal that we want to establish the line of scrimmage. And I think eventually they did, because Northern Illinois offense was so inept. And, I know my man is 25 years old. Technically, I think he's older than Garrett McGuire.
He is by a couple months.
Rocky Lombardi is hands down, Nick, the most inept quarterback I've seen in a very long time.
It was disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I'm going to give part of it to our defense because you know what they did defensively. We can start talking about them. Is they came out. Nash was plugging up the A gaps and doing a really good job of stopping their run. And so if Nebraska was giving away some leaky runs, maybe that would have encouraged Lombardi to play a little bit better. I think the home crowd intimidated them a little bit. Who was that?
Nobody.
Oh. I don't like people looking over my back shoulder, man. We got to get used to this.
We good.
Yeah. Well, they can't get in here.
They can't.
Yeah,
it's keypad. We're good, Jay.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
good.
I'm just making sure.
Plus, it's like the hotel room thing where it's like the first bed by the door is the first person, the second bed, the farther bed from the door.
You get shot first.
I'm gonna get hurt first. You're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine, man.
Yeah, I like this.
There you go.
I
provide comfort for you, man.
I appreciate that, but I think the defensive line came out and played pretty well against Northern Illinois, and then the one thing I liked also is the tight coverage.
Yeah,
Omar Brown and Singleton.
Yeah,
I said it the first game. Their play encouraged the coaches to be okay with Miles Farmer transferring, and that's not throwing shots at Miles Farmer. What it is highlighting two kids that took the opportunity in the offseason and exceeded expectations, and it's just fruits of their labor.
I also think it allows them to. People are forgetting to incorporate and include. Marquise Buford is still a part of this roster, still a part of this team.
Yeah.
Just suffered that injury towards the end of last season. He's going to be out for at least the first 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 weeks of this season. And then you enter the red shirt discussion with Marquise Buford, where it brings that into maybe even a greater possibility when you have guys like Omar Brown and Deshaun Singleton and just that secondary and whole. Malcolm Hartzog made a couple really good open field one-on-one tackles
that
tonight.
Was a lot better than it was the last couple weeks.
Right. So if they can show consistent improvement out of a group that was pretty good against Minnesota for the most part, outside of the botched coverage on that outside post pattern, once again, Malcolm Hartzog there, then that's going to provide the coaches with Evan Cooper and that room in terms of leadership style for the future going forward, a lot more comfort knowing, hey, Marquise Buford, if you'd rather redshirt and come back bigger, faster, stronger, and even more of a leader next year, that's on the table.
Yeah, well, I look at it like if they have to wait and get to 4 games, you almost put him in the class, the coming in class.
Exactly.
It's like he's a transfer.
He'd be a JUCO transfer type.
Yeah, that's huge. But, I think the flexibility, let's not forget Gifford because he made a couple good plays.
Yes.
The linebackers play well. I think, the defense did well. And, it was good to see the kicking game come back a little bit. He liked a little bit more out of the kickoff return game. But that's a little hard because you can go in this day and age, for people listening, you can go in this day and age of college football, you really realistically can go 2 games, maybe 3 without getting a kickoff return.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a high scoring game, because these kickers are so good that they're all kicking it deep into the end zone. You saw Northern Illinois, they fair caught a kickoff to get it at the 35. So there's a lot of options, but we for us to start stacking wins, obviously you got 1, let's try to get number 2 and a breakthrough for this team. You got to look at it like, were the first 2 weeks learning lessons or were they stepping stones? Or both? Because you talked about Hartzog, right?
Yeah.
His open field tackling has not been up to what his standard was.
Yeah.
And so he obviously went back to the lab, right, this week. There's some hard talks, and he had to play a little bit better, just the little things. And then so then you see it tonight. So there's stepping stones and learning lessons. And you know who got the biggest learning lesson of them all? Anthony Grant.
Yeah.
900-yard rusher last year. Loses his starting job. Fumbles in the crucial part in game 1. I don't think makes the trip to Colorado. It lets you know what he's built with to go back to work, right? To practice with no guarantees. Because after last week, you could say, okay, Ramirez is cementing himself as number 2. You're the distance 3. Ramirez gets a little dinged up. Your number's called, and he's gotten better a lot at everything that he looked obviously deficient at through camp and into the game. So, I think it's one of those things that, you got to give it. These kids are bought in. They very easily could have, packed it in and just, had another Nebraska loss at home against a team that they shouldn't. So it's commendable to what they are able to do. Now, it was not perfect, right? And so this next week is going to tell me more than anything.
Yeah,
I kind of could guess this, right? Both because Northern Illinois is garbage, and I kind of have a good pulse on the team coming into this week. Let's see how they handle next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that this was kind of the fashion, whether or not schematically and fundamentally it looked good or it was always good. This was the result. Yeah. This was the result that Nebraska fans, I think, were hoping for going into this one. If we want to get into spreads, yes, they were 12.5, 13-point favorite. Nonetheless, they win 35-11 after giving up a garbage time touchdown with the backup quarterback. So I think looking aside, I mean, we look at next week against Louisiana Tech as Nebraska will host them at 2:30 p.m. It's an opportunity, I guess, to get to 500 and make some big strides, both for the coaches and for the players, right?
And the overall,
just the
feeling in the program. There's nothing like winning. Everything's a lot more receptive as far as corrections and additions after winning. I know we got to go to break here in a minute, but the one thing that I'm going to want to leave you with, Nick, and the listeners out here, the reason why I say next week is going to tell me more, because then that way you can kind of project, obviously injuries aside, is how they handle success. That has been, like Nick Saban said, rat poison around here. You talked about Scott Frost having his first victory blowing out Minnesota, and then next thing you know, you look like a totally different team, regardless of who you're playing, because now here comes the pats on the back. Here comes the social media followers. Here comes, we've actually, we've arrived and all that stuff. And sometimes that can get in your way of being successful and going back to the grind and really being open to what you need to get better at, because, sometimes you can get clouded by that 35-11 score.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can get into the meetings and the coach be like, we left some yardage out there. We could have had this. Well, you didn't. We aren't in a position to take a minute off. Forget a day or a series or a rep. So I want to talk about that. Then we're going to, really want to talk about who you thought the best offensive player was and defensive player. Anthony Grant had a big 9-yard run, or I think it started out Gabe had like a 9-10-yard run because remember they went back-to-back quarterback sneaks on second and one. And then Anthony got his, and then Gabe got going. Then Anthony had his series. Gabe broke through and got a touchdown. And so, you could give it to both of them, but it's good for Gabe is starting off really, really well. I hadn't been on the Gabe Irvin bandwagon as much as everybody else, but I'm starting to I've bought a ticket. I haven't hitched my wagon there yet, but I think he's coming along. I think one thing I think I saw from him is a improvement in the passing game. Caught one out of the backfield, got a first down. So, I think the more running backs you have in this offense, the better. And, they have handled their business. And so that's what the what the Nebraska football team needs. And so, those two or those three have done well. Obviously, Heinrich Harburg, obviously, is the easy choice. But let's highlight some other guys. Because everybody contributed.
We get this question, and it's funny that you mentioned Harburg because somebody on the text line says, really? Harburg was easily the offensive player of the game, but looking deeper, I think that's who we would look at. So we also got this text off the text line. But by the way, unable to take calls today. We'll have it ready to go next week. Just unable to take calls today. So if you're trying to call in, that is why. Once again, 402-464-5685 is the number to text on the Starter Heyman text line for any thoughts. We get asked this question by Gorilla Bear. Why does every coaching staff hate Ramir Johnson? I'm not sure every staff hates Ramir Johnson. Yeah. Is it Jay? We're struggling to figure out how to incorporate him with his body type because he's not necessarily a bruising running back that you can run between the tackles to where he stays healthy for the most part.
Right.
What's going on with Ramir and why is he not as active as maybe some fans would like to see?
That's $1 million question because, he's fast. I would say and then it can kind of snowball from there. And then when you get some other backs that come in and you have different running back coaches and what they like and don't like, then you can, the years can stack, upon each other. And then you're kind of lost like out at sea. And, one of the things I would say is probably Ramir's versatility is maybe used against him, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, you want to have versatility.
Especially with a staff that talks about speed so much.
Right. Yeah, because Ramir can pick him up and put him down. So
yeah,
I wouldn't say that any staff hates him. I think every staff loves him. I think some staffs appreciate Ramir more than others.
Yeah,
he's a great teammate. He's shown internal fortitude of not, taking his ball and running home because he realistically could get on these airwaves and say I hadn't been given a fair chance to compete, not given anything, but given the opportunity to compete. I think he got a little dinged up today, and he'll be back and bounce back, and then he'll provide his leadership. But I think he just loves it here in Nebraska, so that's commendable for him to stick with it, and eventually he'll get his turn. Look, in this running back room, everybody's gonna have their opportunity and their chance. It's just up what they can do with it. And when we switch to defense, my player of the game, it's hard for me because I think. Omar Brown and Singleton have been playing so well, but I'm gonna go Nash, Hutmacher, where, he kind of set the tone right from the get go. He had 5 tackles and 3 of them, the first 3 or 3 of the 5 were tackles for loss. And, that's on top of, obviously playing pretty decent last week. So he's been, a bright spot, where you think, okay, he's a single digit, number, and that means something to this team. And he's, we'll see what he can do. He comes out, Minnesota plays decent, gets that sack, gets I think, a couple hits on the quarterback last week, gets a sack, today. And then obviously, 3 tackles for loss and 6 tackles. And he was pretty steady in there. Now, granted, Northern Illinois isn't, Michigan or somebody like that. But, you can't fault a player for being productive against who he's playing. So I want to highlight him because he's came a long way, man. I mean, from being pushing 330, 340 to being in better shape. It's a constant battle, and to go out there and play, majority of the snaps is commendable for him.
Here's one, Javen Wright.
Yep.
I like Javen Wright. DP and I were sitting up in the press box, and there was a moment where he blew up a running back running a check down in the backfield, and because of that, they were able to get to Lombardi and force what eventually was a punt. And so Javen Wright, I think 4 tackles. He did have the pick as well. But I'm going to give the guy on defense. It was also good, just a couple other pieces, to see MJ Sherman get involved.
Yeah.
Malcolm Hartzog as well after a couple rough weeks. Obviously still trying to fight back into the good graces of Husker fans, I think, after the Minnesota play. Here he is making 4 tackles, 2 of those being solo, and we talked about the open field tackling.
And then Jamari Butler too. He's
guy that's been banged up a little bit.
Banged up a little bit, a little stinger. I kept trying to tell him, man, you need to get in the weight room, do the neck machine. But now hopefully he'll start listening. But back-to-back weeks with sacks, been active, provides depth, and is allowed flexibility as far as the personnel that Coach White uses. Also, Guyber starting tonight or today, and being pretty productive, man. He looks like a totally different kid. Obviously he does, because he's changed his body, right? And then I think also Dvorak is giving him an honest, true opportunity to earn some playing time. He earned it on special teams, and so that's what Matt Rule and those guys have been preaching. And then when he's got an opportunity to play, he was very productive last week, was productive today. I saw a play where I knew that he actually knew what he was doing. They had the Northern Illinois offense backed up like on the 1 or 2 yard line. Remember after that phenomenal punt, and I think Sanford downed it. He it was a calculated guess, shot the gap, tackled him for like a 1 yard gain, a no yard gain, right? That had nothing to do with size, playing jack position. He's out there playing football. So I think, look, the defense has a lot of those guys. And, it's also, you want to commend the staff to being open-minded, coaching them up well, and providing everybody the opportunity to be successful.
We got an update here from Matt Rule's press conference. Jay, one of the guys that we did talk about prior to coming on the air for the postgame show was Cameron Lenhart. And he didn't record a sack, unable to record a sack, but we found out postgame that some of the injured players that were reported by Nebraska coach Matt Rule after the game, Cameron Lenhart, Gabe Irvin, and Ramir Johnson are 3 guys. So there you go. Unfortunately, those 3 guys dealing with a little bit of stuff. Hopefully it's not too serious. We won't hear from any of those guys post-game. Probably not this week either, right. Similar to where we didn't hear from Jeff Sims, simply because you don't hear from players after they get banged up.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a physical game. It's tough. And, look, Northern Illinois came in and competed right from the get-go. They're always a physical, outfit. And I felt like the defensive line obviously was trying to impose their will. So, look, they're hitting the running backs, and you get dinged up. Gabe Irvin was able to finish the game, or not finish, and then I just felt like Anthony Grant was going in there. But, look, those are offense and defensive, players of the game. We're going to come back from break, Nick. And we're gonna dive into, for the next hour, the hard subjects.
Yeah.
The elephants in the room. We're gonna talk about play calling. We're gonna talk about the offensive line, and then we're gonna talk about we are gonna talk like we're coaches about the quarterback position. Well, and what do you do? What do you do if you're Coach Nick? Not Nick Saban, Nick Sainer.
Just because it was 35-11 doesn't mean it wasn't it was perfect.
No, by no means it wasn't perfect.
And you don't need it to be perfect to win games. But it can be.
What's the conversation? Matter of fact, we are going to have that conversation, because I think the conversation about the quarterback and the offensive line, goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
who actually can work around it, though, right? So Jay Foreman after game show.
How about
quick
this
break?
Jay? So Colorado State, we have it up on the TV in the studio. Yeah. It's getting pretty chippy. Travis Hunter actually is laying on the turf. He's banged up. Shadur Sanders got into it with the Colorado State player, and the Rams on the road at number 18 Colorado lead at 14-7 with 4 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the first quarter. So we'll see a little bit from Travis Hunter here, but there you go.
Wow.
So
Levin needs to be he needs to be kicked out of the game, dude. You can't be. I mean, look, I'm all for being physical, man. You can't do that. Man.
Yeah. So just completely punches him right in the. Yeah, I should say above the groin area, above it, just below the stomach.
You're not a tough guy doing that, man. You got to eject him for that.
Yeah, so there you go.
So we're going to go to break.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I thought that was definitely interesting.
Yeah, you did interrupt. But
I apologize,
Jay. Jay Foreman
we were
after
both
game
watching.
show. No, I was not watching, but it's all good. Jay Foreman after game show. We'll be right back.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
The dog days of summer are here. Is your yard in need of a touch-up as we head into the fall season? August, September, and October are the months for aeration, and Penner Sprinkler and Lawn is the place to call to get the job done right. If you're noticing any issues with your sprinkler system through the hot summer months, they're always a call away, and they're already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 20. Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Muir's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back, top of the hour. Another about 50 minutes till we're off, and we hand it off to DP and Bach. But Nick, we might as well not beat around the bush, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
You only get about an hour to celebrate the victory. They only got about 5. Matt Rule probably got about 5 minutes. Got in there and probably got a game ball. Trev gave him the game ball, slap on the back, and then he had to go face the news. And so we're gonna have our own conversation. I want to ask you, how do you think the conversation should go? Now, obviously, health is a big factor, right? So, is it safe to say the coaches feel somewhat comfortable they don't have to rush Jeff Sims back?
I don't know if it's comfortable, but I just think there's definitely a conversation and coming into this game, it was Heinrich Haarberg. He's not going to win the starting job tonight, right? Because I think Matt Rule is one of those guys where he's told us before, players don't lose their starting jobs because they're injured, right? So all you can do if you're Heinrich Haarberg is force a conversation, which I think he did. Why? Because he won. It's as simple as that.
Well, he didn't have any turnovers. Well, he had the fumble, but
he did.
Yeah,
but he won.
But he won,
right? Because
no interceptions.
Exactly. And yes, it's against a specific opponent, but it's not like you played the top 10 defenses in the country in weeks 1 and 2. So you forced there to be a conversation. I think part of it also is they figured out a way to, unfortunately, Heinrich Haarberg ran the ball 21 times tonight. Some of those were scrambles, but I think when you look at what it's going to look like going forward is I would hope that Matt Rule and their staff comes out and says, now it's an open competition.
Right. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But do I think it'll go that way? No.
Well, I mean, Matt Rule, I don't think, I am from a little bit of the old school that, look, Tom Brady was a product of this type of situation. Drew Brees got hurt. Drew Bledsoe was a figurehead in New England. Tom Brady was just a late round draft pick. He gets in there and you start winning ugly, and then next thing you know, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, granted, he put in some work to be that great, but I just think I definitely think there's a conversation, but I think right now the smart conversation is how do we move forward, and I think it's a week to week thing because Haarberg is brought some stuff to the table, right? Big, fast, strong kid, threw a couple good balls, was able to recover from some adversity. So I think the conversation would go more like, okay, when Jeff Sims is as close to 100% as possible, he's the starter. But without a doubt, Heinrich Haarberg has legitimately earned some reps, meaningful.
I agree.
And after that, it's out of our hands. It's in nature's hands, and that's who performs the best. And that's where I think it should go. Now, I'm sure that leash is getting shorter with Jeff Sims, but that doesn't mean that Heinrich Haarberg has the length of O Street to do whatever he needs to do, because it's great that you won, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of little things that need to be better, but the conversation playing like the offense did and he did at times is a lot easier to have. Now, I will say this. The offensive line and their play is in this as well, right? Because if Teddy Prohaska comes back and continues to improve, because you saw him play a little bit today, gets more healthy, then then the offensive line should play better. Well, then what? So I think it's one of the things that has to be evaluated because the offensive line struggled immensely at the beginning of the game. So. You could say Jeff Sims, was he a product of some of the offensive line play? Sure. I don't think it was glorious tonight by any means. I think everybody in the offensive line took their turn and not playing well. And really, to be honest with you, Ben Hart had been playing better and Ben Scott had been pretty good, and they were into some tough matches, especially in that first half. So, they got to have a conversation with that and who works around it. Yeah, right now, where the offense is at. Offensive line is at. So right now you got to figure out who can operate the best with this offensive line, with this play calling, or in this offensive scheme. And can you marry both of them in some sort of playbook that can be adjusted?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to look at. That the leash on Jeff Sims is certainly getting shorter. I'll ask you a deeper question here, Jay. And I'm not trying to go too deep into the whole Matt Rule, how is it portrayed or perceived? What does it mean if Nebraska has to go to QB2 when they brought in a guy through the transfer portal? How does that, is that a bad look is what I'm asking.
Sure, you would like every transfer portal guy you bring in to be what you expect him to be.
Yeah.
But that's why I always said, I don't care what you did at wherever you were at. All I care about is what you do when you're in Lancaster County. So, sure, does it not look as great because it's such a high-profile position and it's so important to the whole team?
Well, and it was the first guy you chose.
Sure.
If we want to talk about that, this is the guy that you are going to kind of tie your hip to for the first year of your of your time at a special, or at a place, I should say.
Right. Yeah. I don't think. Well, we don't know that yet, so I don't. I think you're going to be tied until as long as you play well or don't play well. It's not like the NFL. You're judged solely on if your quarterback makes it or not. So every move is based on the quarterback because you're tied into some guaranteed contract. But whether he was the first guy you went after in the portal or the last, at the end of the day, he's a quarterback. Yeah. And the quarterback is the most important position on the team. It's the most influential position on the team. You're handling the ball every single snap on offense, and it's the guy that gets the most of the attention. Heck, he's on Amigos and all this other stuff. So I do think that this is a good thing because for Jeff Sims to see it, and maybe see how somebody else played, he can maybe take a little bit some tips from there. And learn from some of Heinrich Harburg's mistakes, and come back and be ready to compete.
I think we've had that conversation of quarterback, especially in this day of college football, and especially in year one of your time at a place, whether it's Nebraska, whether it's Northern Illinois, whether it's Tennessee, doesn't matter. You can either help advance your program by who you have leading your offense, or you can set it back multiple years.
Yeah, and that's why it's heck, you see that at the pros, man. It's not just your program, it's your franchise, but we're talking about college. And so that's why it's so important. And that's why you have to do what's best for the program. Came here, would he have been the number one pick? Most likely not. Would he have got drafted? Yes. But, so things can, you can do some things or make some decisions and they end up not being the right one. And it also depends on what time frame during your tenure. So I don't think it's anything that's like earth shattering, but they also understand what they need to do. And look, this staff is, besides the coordinators and the head coach, is very young, right? So they're learning.
Yeah.
And then, this is Marcus Satterfield's first time, in the Big Ten, or will be. He's learning, and to a job at a job of this magnitude, like when Matt Rule, I think, was at Temple and Baylor, they kind of threw a freshman out there and yeah, but they know it. Generally, they have a good idea of what's good football and not. So I do think Jeff Sims can play better. It's been something that's kind of been his deal for a while. It's up to him to get better at it. You cannot be lax with the football.
Well, once again, 402-464-5685. The Starter Heyman text line is what's open today. We'll have phone calls available for you guys next week on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. You can also join us on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951 on your TVs as well. Jay, we get this off the text line from an unnamed texter says, Nick is going after Rule now. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to say that at all. I think it is fair to say, though, that we're going to find a lot about Rule these next couple of weeks, to where if Heinrich Haarberg continues to play well, and if Jeff Sims continues to turn over the ball, we're stating facts here that Jeff Sims, unfortunately, turned it over every quarter. Nebraska was a -6 turnover margin, one of the worst in the country, if not, I think it is the worst.
Yeah.
With Jeff Sims running the quarterback. That's not a personal shot. That's just being honest and truthful.
Yeah, I just think it's, a lot that has to be put out there for some hard decisions to make. Until we get a little bit more, a couple more games underneath our belt, I'm gonna lean towards. Look, they should know these guys more than we do,
and it also doesn't all fall on Jeff Sims either.
Not all of it. Not all.
And that's what I'm trying. I think that's why it's such a hard conversation at times to navigate too.
Yeah, because they know the intricacies. All we're seeing is just a snapshot. They know the intricacies of the play. They know what he maybe was thinking more than we do. But we also know dropping the ball is just football. So,
well, it's IQ decisions, stepping out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
It
goes all into it. And who knows if Heinrich Haarberg was in that situation we've done. Look, Adrian had been around for I don't know how long. He did it against Iowa. So, I mean, it happens. The professionals do it. So I don't think it's just another check into we need to get better at. And so sometimes I think where people lose the mark of if somebody gets pulled or they don't start or they get, I guess, quote unquote, benched during the game. And I think it's been around here a lot where you just go in the milk carton. I don't think it should be used like that. Sometimes I've been there where I had to sit out a series or two and be like, hey, dude, you need to get it together because you're seeing things that aren't out there. Sometimes at quarterback, you have to do that as well. And if this game can inspire Jeff Sims to do some of the other things that he hadn't been so good at during the year, then that's even better for Satterfield and Rule and all them. Then they can actually move forward in bigger steps to have a legitimate offense, right? Because when you whether it's Louisiana Tech next week or obviously Michigan after that, heck, even look Northwestern or anybody, it's not a cakewalk. Maryland looked impressive. If the offensive line comes out with that sense of urgency, or some guys come out with that sense of urgency, you ain't got to worry about the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be getting killed, and whoever gets the ball is going to get killed too. So that also has to be addressed. It's all kind of together, but you start to see some good things. You start to see a little bit more life out of Marcus Washington right in that first drive. I mentioned Thomas Fidone. You like to see Bullock have a comeback, and I like that McGuire had the faith in him. Catch it, 33-yard catch. Right? In 2 weeks, you're gonna be put to sleep.
Well, and those hits also add up. The bruises add up.
Well, no, you will get I'll call it. You will get pistol whipped.
Yeah,
against some real deal dudes, where they will look you up and you will be knocked out there. Whatever field you on, you will be asleep. So this is not the time. This is not Kearney Catholic. Okay, and especially if you get rolling in a couple victories and they're starting to get used to you. Now you have to start playing for everybody else besides yourself. And so still a good first one for them, but they have some hard talks. I mean, if I was a coach, I wouldn't be, I'd get home. It would be on my mind. Now the easy answer is let's see if you can do it 2 weeks in a row. Let's see how much improvement you can make.
Yeah.
Then come Michigan, then you got a real conversation. Assuming Jeff Sims will be healthier, right? Assume we win. Assume he plays a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
And then here comes the best team in the nation right now.
Well, because I mean, how much do wins just dictate this off? From a 5,000-foot view.
A little bit. And
not a lot.
It's not the whole thing.
Okay.
Because look, we were one play or two away from beating Minnesota. A 6-minute bad stretch of football, being in the very thick of things against Colorado, and Chuba Purdy still would have hurt groin or whatever. Probably could have went out there and won this game. And this is not taking anything away from Heinrich, but it's not always the same. Now, if you're 6-7 wins down the road, like Brock Purdy was, well then that's it. But Brock Purdy was playing the position at such an elite level that the wins were just a byproduct of that, right? And obviously the team got comfortable with him. And you got to think, before Brock Purdy got in there, Jimmy Garoppolo was doing his thing. Then he got the freak injury, and he was actually looking better than Trey Lance. So they kind of fell upon it. So I think it's just one of those things. Let's not get too far over our skis. Let's see what he does next week, and then let's see where Jeff Sims is at. But both of them got to play.
Well, because I think when going into this game, we had the conversation of you just need a quarterback to just play quarterback and just run the offense and keep control of the football. And if you look at Nebraska here, they fumbled it once, as we talked about, but other than that, they were even in the turnover margin tonight.
Yeah, and there's not too many quarterbacks that are in the third or fifth step in their drop and get blindsided would probably not drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was back there quick.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the coaching point is you always got to have ball security. Reality is we got to get better blocking on that thing. So,
we got defense coming up after this because we got a couple of questions on the text line for you regarding the defense.
Yeah, we're going to go to break, come back, and we got one long segment. We're going to hammer in on the defense, what we like and what we love and what needs to get better, because I think as they start to get along and you're going to start facing some real competition, the expectations need to change, and that's also we need more from you too. So Jay Foreman After Game Show, we're going to take a quick break, then we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich, or the Prime Rib French Dip, or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Teryx and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule or looking to dominate adventure in a Teryx, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates. Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting?
Piling up again? Managing IT can definitely be frustrating. Whether you have an in-house IT department or you manage it yourself, let Hamilton be your experts. At Hamilton, we take the frustration out of your business tech issues with managed IT solutions. We specialize in co-managed and fully managed IT. Does your business need better managed IT? Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
An energy tip from LES. Schedule a furnace or heat pump check to ensure your heating system runs at its peak efficiency before winter arrives. Learn more easy ways to save at les.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon wrap dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon wrap dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between. Capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
America's been around since 1776. That's nothing. America's still just learning how to party. The Irish? The Irish have been doing it for thousands of years. Party the Irish way at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket. They've got your favorite Irish beers on tap, along with all the locals and domestics. Plus great house cocktails, a huge selection of Irish whiskey, and the best Irish pub food in town. See the full menu and list of specials online at mckinneyspub.com or just head down there. McKinney's Irish Pub at 7th and P in the Haymarket. Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinnie Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back, Jay Foreman, after game show. We'll dive into the defense. Obviously played really well tonight, and you can't fault them for who they're playing or who they played. They were pretty dominant. I don't even know if Northern Illinois had over 10 yards rushing or real yards, and that means when the game was obviously within winning percentage or winning point margin. So it was pretty dominant. I mean, Hutmacher had done really well, and obviously everybody else had done well, but one thing that you keep hearing the coaches talking about, we need to turn the ball over. And sometimes that's hard, and this is the difference between when you're playing that 3-3-5 and you don't really have a dominant pass rusher, right? Somebody that third down, he's gonna move the pocket, get there right off the edge, or either up the middle or both. And you can have the ability to drop 8, and then you have to maybe bring 2 more guys to have a 5-man rush, all right? So then you only got 6 back. And so that's going to make you open to, a short area passing game, which Northern Illinois couldn't do anything, couldn't play pitch and catch, couldn't do anything. So that there is less hits on the quarterback, less opportunities to pick passes off. And so they got to really get guys working. I think the Jamari Butler coming back, then hopefully Sherman getting some positive plays can allow them, if they go into a 4-man front or a 3-man front, to push the pocket and then also create some turnovers. Newsome had a real good play. He was out, but we dropped a couple interceptions, but we need to get some more hands on the ball.
I thought one of the things we talked about coming into this game, what Nebraska needed to do defensively, was apply pressure to the quarterback. They hurried Rocky Lombardi, who is not very good as it is.
Yeah.
Right. They made him worse by, pressuring the pocket a little bit. They had 3 quarterback hurries in today's game. Last week, coming off of the 8 sacks and 11 tackles for loss that they had against Colorado, they come and sack, Rocky Lombardi and Northern Illinois 3 times over the course of the game. One thing we talked about going into this game was that against Boston College, Northern Illinois didn't get sacked a single time.
Right.
Last week again.
Coverage, they kind of skewed the stats, and look, the inability to play pitch and catch from Northern Illinois they couldn't get in the run game. They couldn't even challenge you down the field.
Drop passes.
Drop passes. Rocky Lombardi, it was on a crucial 3rd or 4th down. He just fell down.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was doing. The Turf Monster got him. Yeah. So he didn't know what he was doing. So really, the opportunities weren't there. But, Jamari Butler got there. Nash got there, and a couple other guys got there. But it wasn't the consistent pass rush, right? And sometimes the offense that you go against dictates that. And that's what I think Northern Illinois was trying to do. Nebraska had the opportunity with the 3-3-5 to have more guys in coverages, more guys with eyes on the ball. And one thing I think that Nebraska's defense has done really well is rally to the ball and be more physical and tackle well in the open field. They've obviously put an emphasis on it in camp and then spring ball as well previously. Being more efficient in tackling one-on-one. You saw some guys, you saw Singleton, you saw Omar Brown. You saw a plethora of guys, just essentially stifle any type of run after the catch options that Northern Illinois had. And so that's what they're doing well. But to really be a defense that's going to lead the team and become a dominant defense, you're going to have to turn the ball over consistently every game. Because with this offense, regardless of who the quarterback is, and until you get a consistent 4-quarter game of intent, energy, and want to out of the offensive line as a unit, and that's including the tight ends, your defense is going to have to be lights out, and that's just a challenge that's upon them, and they can't pout about it. They just got to get a little bit better.
Well, Northern Illinois totaled 149 yards on offense in today's game. They averaged just 2.6 yards per play,
right?
And just had 12 first downs today as well. And part of it was Nebraska. How about this, Jay? We talked so much in the first 2 weeks of Nebraska's offense was Nebraska's best defense, right? Because you got to keep the defense off the field. You put them in some tough positions in the first 2 weeks. How about this? Nebraska won the time of possession game 36 minutes to 23 minutes and change, obviously, in each of those. But Nebraska's defense was able to stay fresh for a lot of it.
Right, and that's where you saw them be so efficient, even probably a little bit better on 3rd down and not wear down. And so Nebraska wore, Northern Illinois down. And see, this is where Northern Illinois ran into problems, right? They used their short passing game as kind of extension of the run game. Well, that wasn't working. Yeah. They couldn't conventionally run the ball. So therefore they were just inept all night. When you only have 40 some yards and coming from the MAC, well, you have an immobile quarterback that makes suspect decisions, and that's just being nice. Now you can't do anything. And you saw actually when the backup came in, now granted, I know it was in kind of mop up time, but he actually looked a little bit more fluid in how he was playing. So, I think what Northern Illinois didn't do, and maybe it's the lack of experience of facing the 3-3-5, but they played right into Nebraska's hands. They have more guys in coverage, so they're going to be able to stifle your short area passing game. You should have had to find a way to either create some bootlegs, get out on edges, put guys in a no-win situation, or where they make one decision and you got a high-low situation constantly on a flat defender, or attack them. Ideally, when you're a coach, you got to keep pushing your team here. You got to keep pushing this defense to get turnovers, to get hits on the quarterback, because next week is going to be a harder challenge where Louisiana Tech has a couple offensive players. Their defense is going to be better than Northern Illinois, and so you got to expect you're going to get their best shot, right? And then after that, you got the number one team in the nation coming in here that is playing by their terms for a bigger purpose. And so you can't sit back and say, okay, well, we're going to play good for the first 4 weeks and assuming that you play good next week, and then we're just going to allow Michigan just to steamroll us.
Well, so Nebraska, they came into today's game, and obviously through a small sample size of just 2 games, they came in with the 8th best rushing defense in the country. They allowed just 56 yards per game, about 1.95 yards per attempt. Rushing defense-wise. They hold Northern Illinois to 26 rushing yards on 22 attempts, which is good for 1.2 yards per carry. Now, Jay, I mean, just a sidebar here. This is the second week in a row that Northern Illinois has tried to, establish a run and had less than 2 yards per carry.
Yeah, it's not whatever. First of all, their linemen obviously aren't run blocking linemen.
Yeah.
They're not really pass blocking linemen, but they definitely aren't run blocking linemen. And they're trying just to keep you off balance to see if they can pop a big run in there and then kind of soften you up. The problem is when you have an offensive line that's not really good at conventional run game blocking, you have to have a Jeff Sims, Adrian Martinez, Taylor Martinez type of quarterback that can really.
And Rocky Lombardi is not. Rocky Lombardi would struggle beating me from 10th to 11th Street. Well, you have to also remember that one of the first downs that Michigan State got was on a defensive pass interference penalty on the near sideline where Tommy Hill just by rule, it's a defensive pass interference, didn't look back and find the ball.
Right. Yeah. And it was good.
And it was underthrown by Rocky Lombardi, shocker, but by rule, it's a defensive pass interference.
It was like that put up in the stat sheet. They're going to start taking count of, he's got a couple pass interference, 50 yards of pass interference calls. So, I just think that the defense needs to keep pushing. They're doing a lot of really good things. I keep saying that they've expanded the roster. And what I mean by that is guys that were on the milk cartons that you never even heard of are playing. They got some young guys in there playing. Freshman, Cam Linhart, seen Van Poppel in there. Now, whether they're going to push these guys past this, 4-game rule, that's where you have to really always take a snapshot of where you're at in the season. And then I know as coaches, you don't ever look ahead, but you have to, because these are careers that you're trying to make these decisions. And on offense, all these young guys, right? And it's really commendable and really good on the training staff that they've been able to come in and get these guys ready to go. But they also have to make sure that you don't want to have somebody out there for 5 games and next thing you know, you end up 3-9, or they don't get enough reps to be worth it. So there's some decisions that needs to be made, but overall this defense is playing well. You're getting a lot of run out of a Blaze Gunnarsson.
Yeah.
You're getting run out of, obviously, you want to get more production out of Ty Robinson. You're starting to see, you're starting to get legitimate production out of Nash. You want to expect that. You got 3 linebackers now, as far as Bullock and Heinrich and obviously Luke Reimer. And then you got Gifford and Singleton and Brown. And then the corners and Tommy Hill bounced back after, having a little bit of a brain fart, on a crucial down against Colorado. So you're starting to see the roster, and then obviously Mekhi Gaber is started tonight and playing pretty consistent, and then you got something out of MJ Sherman. Now, if you could get, Chief Borders in there, now you got some position flexibility, and then you could really cause some problems. So it's back to the drawing board, but it's also you're a step ahead of maybe where you thought you would be, but you got big challenges coming up here.
We got about 15 minutes left here in the Jay Foreman postgame show. Once again, appreciate you guys for listening as Nebraska beats Northern Illinois 35-11 in the Matt Rule home opener. Matt Rule gets his first win as Nebraska's head coach. Couple questions from the text line, 402-464-5685. Chef Corey asks, Jay, did the defense make another stride tonight? You've kind of answered that, but just kind of go in depth on how much more can we expect or should we expect from this defense? Matt Rule said in the postgame press conference tonight that he said and challenged them at the beginning of this week to make this a defense-led team. Right. How much should Nebraska fans expect and kind of hope for going forward from Nebraska's defense?
Well, I think when you play good, he always says you show your butt, right? And so once you show your butt, you got to keep doing it every week. So, you're not going to be able to go out there and hold Michigan to 140 some yards. You're not going to hold anybody maybe on the rest of the schedule to that much. But, you need to go out there and you need to be really efficient. And when you tackle in the open field, you got to be able to hit the quarterback and you got to be able to create a new line of scrimmage. That should be something that you should be able to do on a consistent basis. And so, that's what you should expect every week. You shouldn't in a couple weeks see Michigan run for 330 yards or something like that. And then you feel like, the bottom that fell out. So you want to see a competitive nature to where each week these guys take it upon themselves to challenge us to be an even better unit, right? And play even better, learn each other more, because everybody's still learning the system. The coaches know the players, but they're still learning about the players themselves and where you got to start stepping it up, right? You got to get I saw Judy in there. We got to get you in shape. We got to get you, the dude. You were a 4-star. Yeah. We got to start. This is an opportunity here. So that's where you need to get better. And then you got to get the DBs and the safeties and the linebackers. We got to start getting some. We need to start getting some, hands on the ball, some interceptions, and some hits on the quarterback, and then you can start to see maybe more of a big blitz package and really starting to create some havoc. So that's the defense recap right there. We're going to go to break, and then at the short segment, we're going to look forward to Louisiana Tech and what possibly they could do against this Nebraska team after one victory. Jay Foreman, after game show. We'll be right back.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
An energy tip from LES. Schedule a furnace or heat pump check to ensure your heating system runs at its peak efficiency before winter arrives. Learn more easy ways to save at les.com.
All right, it's lunchtime. Where should we go today?
How about Qdoba? We can get free queso and chips with an entree purchase.
Whoa, how'd you know about that?
It's in the campus cash booklet that we got for free to start the school year, the student marketplace. You didn't get yours?
I'd better go grab mine now.
You'd better stop at the College of Hair Design, too. Your hair is getting long. $8 haircut with the campus cash book.
What about my friends who are out of college?
They can download the campus cash app for free and get great deals, too, from Pizza Hut, Juice Stop, Craft Axe Throwing, and tons more.
Campus Cash, the student marketplace. Find your free booklet on campus or download the Campus Cash app. It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturday, NFL Sunday. Of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Last segment before we hand this off to DP and Bob. Jay Foreman After Game Show. Nebraska wrapped up their first victory under Matt Rule, 35-11, but it was actually 35-3. Next week, Louisiana Tech. It's always going to be a different challenge. They get to see 3 weeks of work in what was good and what was bad. They actually have a week's or a game's worth of tape on Heinrich Harburg, right? So he's going to be the assumptive starter. I'd be very surprised if he's not. So they actually will be better prepared for him than, say, Northern Illinois, right? So, Northern Illinois tried to change up their defense, on the fly, whereas Louisiana Tech can kind of look at, hey, this works out well, this doesn't work out well. This is what they like to do with him. And so they can really study in on him. So you should expect Louisiana Tech defensively should be better than Northern Illinois. And then offensively, I think they're a little bit more of a threat, but it's another game where Nebraska should win, should maybe start the game like they finished. And people will be a lot more happier. So, look, it's another game, another step in the right direction, hopefully for them. But handling success is probably the biggest thing for them and the biggest thing for the program that hasn't been done at a good enough rate in the past.
Just so our listeners know, Louisiana Tech 2-2 this season. They played a week 0 game here in 2023. They beat FIU in week 0. They lost to SMU in week 1. Right. Beat Northwestern State 51-21 in week 2. It would be of the college football season, and then ended up losing to North Texas at home 40-37 earlier today.
Yeah. So it's they have one more game on us, so that that's a little bit of advantage. Where they don't have an advantage, obviously, I don't think they've played as good of a schedule.
Yeah.
And the 3-3-5. I watched them one night, matches up pretty well against their offense and their personnel. So they got a good receiver, good tight end, a decent quarterback, and probably a better offensive line than Northern Illinois.
One thing, I do want to note, as I completely lost my train of thought, but nonetheless, that game kicks off 2:30 p.m. next Saturday. And Jay and I will be there. Oh, right. I got my point back. One thing we have not talked about tonight: special teams. Yeah. Not necessarily big plays in the return game.
One big play. You give Buschini credit.
I was just going to say, but Brian Buschini had a much better game than he has in weeks 1 and 2 for Nebraska.
Yeah. And you look, anytime that you don't perform well, you got to have pride about yourself. Go back and work at it. And it was probably something little, maybe in his giddy up, and he punted the ball well. We covered the ball well. The one kickoff return for 16 yards. Couldn't really go anywhere, but we need to get a little bit better up front and blocking, and it's hard because they're on you pretty quick. So it's still a work in progress. I would say special teams are probably even Steven.
Yeah.
But I will tell you what, Buschini had some great punts that got Nebraska bounces. Their punter had some bad punts that got Nebraska bounces. So it kind of worked in our favor, and that's what you need. That's what you want. You want to take advantage of other teams' mishaps, and opportunity to be 500 after 4 games. And so if you would have asked before the season with the new coach, 60% new roster, and that's underestimating it, will we be 2-2 after the first 4 games? People would have been pretty happy. So it's up to them, and it's right in front of them. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out this week and what the focus is, because the focus is going to be the biggest tell-all sign.
Jay, before you give your final thoughts, we have a very important question from the text line. Would Rocky Lombardi beat you in a race from 10th Street to 14th Street?
No.
There you go.
No.
We got that question
with a bad Achilles and everything, he wouldn't beat me.
Yeah,
there's not anything that Rocky Lombardi will be able to do, and I'm 20 years older than him. Athletically, he could never. I mean, dude, did you work out this offseason?
Hey.
I mean,
never forget, he threw 41 passes while at Michigan State. And the one other time that he's been to Lincoln and played Nebraska was at Michigan State back when Nebraska won 9-6. Jay, he went 15 of 41 through the air and a pick. He threw 41 passes in a blizzard. And here he is tonight. Another disappointing performance.
Well, that's on the coach. That's on the coach.
It is.
That's why he retired that
he
quick.
Went 15 to 41.
Yeah, because he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He couldn't hit that car right there if his life depended on
any
it.
of them.
Any of them.
There you go.
Yeah, he can't even throw it into the ocean with his eyes closed. So,
all right, man, we got a minute left here.
A minute left. Appreciate you guys listening. Talk to you guys next week, 2:30. So we'll probably be on about 5:30. Jay Foreman after game show. DP and Bach are up next.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon-wrapped dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon-wrapped dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
An energy tip from LES. Schedule a furnace or heat pump check to ensure your heating system runs at its peak efficiency before winter arrives. Learn more easy ways to save at les.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Teryx and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule, or looking to dominate adventure in a Teryx, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part part of the gray difference.
All right, it's lunchtime. Where should we go today?
How about Qdoba? We can get free queso and chips with an entree purchase.
Whoa, how'd you know about that?
It's in the campus cash booklet that we got for free to start the school year, the student marketplace. You didn't get yours?
I'd better go grab mine now.
You'd better stop at the College of Hair Design, too. Your hair is getting long. $8 haircut with a campus cash book.
What about my friends who are out of college?
They can download the Campus Cash app for free and get great deals, too, from Pizza Hut, Juice Stop, Craft Axe Throwing, and tons more.
Campus Cash, the student marketplace. Find your free booklet on campus or download the Campus Cash app.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control at Prairie Ortho. And discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
For many Nebraskans, fall means cooler weather and longer days that include running kids around, cheering for your favorite teams, and long days at work. The hours on your feet can really add up and give unnecessary pain and discomfort. At Fleet Feet Lincoln, they help find the shoes and inserts you need with their Fit ID machine, which takes a 3D image of your feet. If you're having trouble finding the right fit, visit Fleet Feet Lincoln at 77th and Pioneers.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome into the After Party Post Game Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hopefully you enjoyed the Jay Foreman Post Game Show. Obviously, always great to get the insight of a longtime NFL vet and Husker Hall of Famer Nick Sainer also jumping in there. If you missed that, go back and check that out. And check it out every week after the games. But we will do this as well. Do a further extension of the Post Game Show. And today, it is a party. Often over the last couple of years, we've done the after party post game show, and there's not much partying going on. But I say, as we sit in our new studios downtown 11th and O, we see people enthusiastic as they walk by the windows and have some fun down here. And we will continue that as Nebraska gets the win tonight, 35-11 in the home opener of the 100th season of Memorial Stadium. So just lots of stuff to break down. Obviously, Heinrich Harburg, the starting quarterback, did a fair job. We'll get into all of that. We've got DP and Austin to my left. So, fellas, let's just jump right into this post-game show. Immediate thoughts following the game. DP, you were there. We'll let you start it off.
A win.
Yeah.
A win. Like mission accomplished. Above all things, trying to figure out exactly what needed to be done. First thing need to happen was figure out a way to win. Get through it as healthy as you could, but get a win on the board. Now, all the discussion points will carry us through the rest of the week. But what we all circled at the top of the pyramid for things that have to happen is for them to figure out how to win this football game. Learning how to win is one of the more difficult things. Finishing games is the most difficult thing in all sports. So for Matt Rule and the staff to figure out exactly how to execute that when they talk about their branding in the fold, the install and the development and all those things, at the very end of it, it's actually executing the plan, executing what you were coached, executing what you were taught. They did those things. They got it from some key positions, but let's not bury the lead. This is a black shirt night.
Mm-hmm.
The black shirts allowed the offense to do what it did. They set the tone early, holding a team to less than 3 yards, an offensive play over 58 plays. Listen, Tony White as the defensive coordinator, a shout out to the Husker defense because they set the tone. They did exactly what they were supposed to do at home so that the offense could figure it out.
Darn near half of Northern Illinois' yards came on their final drive when the game was already decided. So that's a huge hat tip to the Black Shirts. First time since 2010, I believe, Nebraska's held an opponent under 150 total yards. Huge kudos, huge congratulations to that unit for doing what it came to do. Could have had a turnover earlier, depending on how Quentin Newsom's interception, non-interception got judged.
Right.
It's impossible to take the shine off a win, right? Mission one, you got it done, you accomplished it, that's great. It's exciting that it's a win, but it was a business-like, kind of boring win, right? A game that we haven't seen in Nebraska for a long time, where Nebraska was physically better, and they proved it. You could see them start leaning on Northern Illinois, especially in the second half. And DP, we talked about this this morning at Baki ran too. Complementary football that Nebraska just hasn't played. They didn't score to start the second half. Buschini gets a fantastic punt covered well by Phelan Sanford down to the 1. Defense gets a stop early on, get a 3 and out. Here comes the offense. They punch it in for points. That can be the identity of this team, that complementary style of football that they did perfectly there early in the third quarter.
Bach, we kind of broached it of what was required, what we wanted to do. We need to see them overloaded on base level. Let's beat people at the point of attack. Let's not be shy about it. We didn't have to finesse the game. We frowned a little bit. Nick and I were side by side. We kind of frowned at a moment where they used some trickery. And we immediately said, like it was visceral, like a moan. Like we were just like, hey, we can't have this happen. We can't have this happen. I'm still concerned about the inability to just focus on running the ball. And I'm a coach in the sense, I'm a tailback at heart.
But a wide receivers coach.
Well, I coach every position, but at my heart, like I want the ball. I don't care how I get it. Like I don't care how I got it. I'm a little more concerned that the quarterback is getting more carries than the running backs. Even if you're bigger, even if you're stronger, I don't want to quite jump into the Tebow 2.0 pool. Like, stop that. Let's not do that to him. Let's not put him in the Cam Newton camp. Let's not do that to him. We know what happens through Nebraska football when a quarterback carries the burden of the running game. We know what happens. We tossed aside quarterbacks, right? And then we have to go to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. So at some point, this Marcus Satterfield and this staff has to figure out how to get the running game going in full. And yes, if you need an extra blocker and this is the only way you're going to win, okay, we now know what it is and we'll work accordingly.
Yeah, and I fear that that's going to be a big part of the offense all year long. I do think that you're right in the long run. That's not what you're going to want. You're not going to have your guys healthy. But in one sense of this quarterback battle, which I'm sure we'll talk about all week, in one sense that is good is that they're somewhat similar as far as what they bring to the table, and part of that is their ground game. So a little bit replaceable there if a guy gets banged up, but it is not ideal. But at the same time, I mean, this is an offense that hadn't scored up until halftime in this game. Kind of a touchdown there late last week to make it look a little bit better. It struggled to find the end zone. So, I do think in the long run, they're going to have to dial that down. But for tonight, finding a way to get 35 points on the board, I can't complain too much.
You can't. I go back to Jurassic Park. Your scientists were so concerned if they could, they didn't think whether or not they should in some ways. And I think about that with the quarterback run, especially early. There was a lot of quarterback run in that first half. It's one thing if it's the right read on a zone read play. It's one thing if it's the right read on an option play. You want to bust it out from time to time. But running the power, running the follow, that's completely different.
Purposeful quarterback draw, okay. But it can't be how you move the chains. It shouldn't be how you move the chains. And it tells me that you're covering for something else. Look, I like some of the personnel changes, getting Prohaska in the big unit, getting Jenkins out there as well.
I formation looked better today than it did all year.
Running it there, but there's still a foundational problem to being able to just look when you look at the Husker schedule, the rest of it, there's no other team on the schedule that Nebraska can literally line up and outmuscle. It doesn't exist. So if you can't do it tonight, I'm a little concerned, but you found something, right? There have been past instances where this program has witnessed a team lose to a team that they should been able to muscle. So at least we got that right. I'm just lost count at 32 hits over the course of the night. It's just a lot. And remember, he's quarterback number 2. Like you already banged one. Quarterback 2 got 19 carries, 32 or so hits. Let's just be aware.
32 hits on 68, 69 total plays for the offense.
That's a lot of work.
That's almost half.
That's a lot of work. And let's not miss the early drive with the fumble. Right, you still, and the coaches adjusted, they adapted, and got an extra blocker in play. But you're missing. There are too many olays. There are too many lookout blocks still happening. And look, a win is a win. Like we can all celebrate, and O Street is letting us know that okay, I don't care how you get the win, and you did it with some volume and substance. You now know more about yourself in week 3 than you knew. Are you good enough to win next week? Yes, because now you've got to win on the books. But Bach, you start to, we have to be careful, right? Celebrate the win for 24 hours. Tonight we get to party.
Yeah.
We get to party. We'll get to work on Monday. But tonight, they got it done.
Well, and I got a feeling Heinrich Harburg feels pretty good. I mean, if you saw the post game too before he went up for his press conference, he got a photo in there with Coach Rule, Tommy Frazier, Eric Crouch. I mean, that is one way for a guy that grew up, of course, in Nebraska to kind of be brought in among the group to finally be a part of the guys that started. So, I mean, I think it was excellent. I mean, limitations for this offense, certainly when they play against better defenses. And I think that's why they have to depend so much on the quarterback run. Offensive line, as we're kind of going through it, I know you said a couple olays. I mean, they were able to push a little bit better tonight. Still kind of rotating Lutovsky and Newell in. And maybe I wonder if they want to find a solution for that, or if they just want to keep, rotating them and just kind of see how it plays out. But I thought an okay job from the offensive line tonight, a pretty good job. But like we were saying, it's I think they're running that quarterback out of necessity a little bit. What did you guys think of the offensive line play tonight?
Austin, I'll let you go first.
Okay,
I'll let you go first.
It was fine for tonight. The fumble that you mentioned.
That's it. That kind of you ask the kid, "How you doing?" I'm fine. That's kind of how that came off to me. I don't know. That's how it came off to me. It was kind of like, I'm fine.
Yeah, the offensive line hasn't been great to start the year. I also wouldn't say it's problem number one. I think it's slightly better than last year in some ways. The fumble, I don't put on Harbor. He's trying to go through his reads. Ben Hart took a step inside. You let the outside guy go for a second. I just think his angle and recovery was really bad. The guy was around the end before he got a chance to step back there. You'd like to think that's fixable, but like you're saying, DP, we saw a lot of it. We've seen a lot of it in the past. So it worked for tonight. You run for 5 yards a carry, give or take. You don't, I don't think, necessarily complain about it because you got to prove that you can do it against a team like Northern Illinois. To tell me you might be able to do it against someone else, but the competition is going to step up.
You know what's really cool? Okay, I have to again, short attention span theater here at the Fishbowl. A big part of the process of being down here at 1040, and we were wondering about the noise, right? And we just saw an ambulance go by full siren, and we didn't hear it.
Yeah,
I'm accepting all victories today. That is a victory.
Yes,
job well done. Who designed the windows and everything there? Again, the text line is open, so you can text us if you've got question, comments, or otherwise. Get them out there for us. You can put them on the YouTube stream as well. We were the Austin Horman, Jake Bach over. Listen, 35-11. If we say 35-11, a 24-point win any day other than tonight, we're thrilled. Right? Is that a fair statement?
Oh yeah.
Is that big? Is that big enough? Is that bold enough? Was it loud enough? Was it consistent enough? Was it good enough? I'll ask you: is this a quality win?
It's quality enough because you needed one. I'm not going to lie; I was a little underwhelmed by Northern Illinois. Maybe I should credit Nebraska's defense more than anything, but given where Boston College was, I think that's comparable to what we've seen from Nebraska. At least they went on the road and were able to do that. Maybe it's week one; they have more time to prep. I don't know. I expected a little more from Northern Illinois. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to give Nebraska credit for doing what it should have done, given what we ended up seeing.
Yeah, Nebraska beat Northern Illinois last time they came in here in 2019, 44-8, which is even a more of a big victory. And those just were very uncommon in the Scott Frost era. So, maybe you kind of lean back on that and kind of think about it. But to me, I absolutely think this was good. And you know what? One thing I hate more than anything is a garbage touchdown that throws off the start of sets. Because they limited those guys.
A garbage drive.
It was.
Right.
And it was just, and they were moving at will. And so you were just, there's like, the time was ticking and you were just, at least I was just sitting there going, just please run out the clock. And like you said earlier, they already kind of was messing up the total yard stuff. Like, this was a dominating defensive performance, and I like to see a dominating defensive performance with all the numbers intact. Instead, we got to kind of do our own deductions here. But in any case, they also only gave up those 3 points off that fumble, which was really impressive.
Nash Hutmacher drive.
Yeah. And he played big tonight.
Yeah, I was laughing because immediately you put it in as the sons and nephews portion of the football game. Like, yeah. like it's all about you. Wait a minute, what number is that? Like, I need my program right now to figure out who's playing. And then a lot of it for me was watching the coaching staff evolve over the course of the game. We talked about it in full, right? That we started laughing for what we were doing. Yeah, we won. They actually won a game. They actually won the game. That's beautiful. And so keynote, we have a fan cam.
I'll get it on.
Yeah, we have a fan cam. So I think if we can split the screen, I would actually split the screen to actually show O Street at night after a win, right?
We're getting a lot of walk by the window here.
It's classic stuff, right? Right? She's out there. She's giving the full dance. Like, it's the full thing there. So it's always hilarious to me. This is part of why we did it. We said, okay, you know what? We've got one, holding people accountable, right? And then once people find out that, okay, listen, if you come out here and you get too silly, it'll be on the internet forever.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be on
Don't
the internet.
Don't lose your job over this.
Right? Like, really, like, if you were a little loose in the alcoholic beverage line, avoid the camera. Like just make a strong adult decision when you walk past the radio station from this point forward, because we're there and you're seeing so much. Like we're gonna have to have like a fashion hour, like a game day fashion hour of what people are wearing.
Oh yeah,
right, because it's been the full range. Here's where it gets really good for me. That you get the September wardrobes, right?
Oh yeah,
you get the September wardrobe, which in full. Today I saw, I want to say at least 12 knee-high boots, like white
Seems
leather,
low.
like it was right. Like I was trying to figure out, okay, and then the number of Husker students who pre-partied at a high level, right? You can always tell the first timers. Like they come through and they go, wait a minute. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, we're on camera. That's right. That's right. That'll be the other part we do. Like we'll always keep the fan cam on there so people can see that we see them, right? So we have to worry about right? Oh, it's exceptional. Look, for me, if I asked you who was the best player on the field tonight, I'll ask you both. Bach, who was the best football player on the field tonight?
I think Nash Hutmacher's got a pretty strong argument. I think grading on a curve, I would say like this to me. I'll remember this game for Heinrich Harburg.
Yeah.
But I think Hutmacher, as far as standing up, that's a guy that for a while, I mean, he played a season and a few games without getting a tackle. And, he's a bigger guy. He's a nose tackle. Sometimes you don't always get the biggest stats there. But if he can be disruptive, and they've been, I still go back to PJ Fleck, very complimentary, despite the Nebraska loss, of the talent up front for Nebraska, how big they are. I mean, this rushing defense, I don't know if it's a fluke. Now, to your point, Austin, Northern Illinois, they were attacking east and west by the end because they could not get any five defense that I was questioning. I mean, I was wondering about it. Now, thankfully for me, and as has been, described throughout this time, is that it doesn't necessarily mean 3 down linemen, but I just worry about that because I'm not a big 3 down lineman guy. But in any case, I mean, Nash Hutmacher, that defensive line, and this defense altogether is going to keep Nebraska in most of these games. And when we talk about that rushing defense, and it's going to be national, I mean, I got to believe it's going to be top 10. I think it was pretty close to it. I think 9th heading into this game. That will only improve. That big test of Michigan looms. Can't overlook Fresno State, but I'm saying for that rush
Louisiana
defense, or Louisiana Tech, sorry, got him confused. But yeah, I'm clearly overlooking Louisiana Tech. But Michigan, for my rushing defense stats,
do better.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
like we know how that works, right? Come on, Bach. Austin, who's the best player of the field?
Yeah, Hutmacher definitely had his moments. Ty Robinson, I thought, was pretty good all night. Harburg was in control. He was better than I thought he was going to be. I'm not going to lie. It's hard for me to say Thomas Fidone was the best player on the field, but I think he proved there's a role for him. Busted coverage for the touchdown. He was there and available when he needed to be, okay as a blocker out in space. But yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to Harburg for the offense. He was in control. He did his job. Maybe more than he should have been asked to do, like we started with. But I also go back to what Matt Rule said. I don't remember if it was on Thursday's presser or just tonight in postgame. They all kind of run together. It's hard for Matt Rule to point out everyone on the defense that's playing so well because it's such a unit-based thing.
Yeah.
It's such an amoeba. There's been really good gang tackling. When there's pressure, it's being caused by multiple guys coming to rush the quarterback. So no one on the defense, to me, stands out with their individual stats, and I wonder if that's by design.
Oh, well, I mean, it's an amoeba defense, and it is a chaos defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked perfectly against a team that it should actually work against. Like, that's literally what it's set up for. And mind you, that the Big Ten offenses that this defense will have to shut down and face this is not on the level. Like, what you saw today is not on the level. Rocky Lombard, hey, bro, I'm a fan, but not at the level of Big Ten quarterbacks that Nebraska's going to have to stop over the course of the next few weeks. But they did what they were supposed to tonight, and we give them credit for it. To me, I have to say that I'm still on. I'm applauding Harburg, but I'm not ready to give him the full coronation. I don't know what their decision is going to be. Even the presser post game, that there was no real clarification on what this is. And remember, you don't always pull somebody's card after a week when they've won the battle for 8 weeks prior to that. Jeff Sims was better than Harburg for the 7 weeks prior to him getting injured.
Yep.
He was better. He head-to-head, he beat him out for 7 weeks. He beat him out. So all of a sudden now, okay, you beat a team you should have beaten. You were favored by 13. You did your thing. You can ask the question, do you think Jeff Sims runs for 100-plus yards against Northern Illinois? Yeah.
Right.
Did Harburg make a play with his feet that we hadn't seen Jeff Sims make? Harburg also fumbled, cost them 3 points, right? In full. There are a lot of the throwing numbers.
The throwing mechanics scare me.
A lot of sidearm.
And the feet.
Which we again, correctable things. I as a coach, I want to say, let's go back to the week of training and tell me when we worked on you making sidearm throws in large volume.
But he saw it last Thursday, DP.
Well, I just want to say what we want from your young quarterbacks is to consistently do what you were coached to do. Don't do anything in a game situation that you haven't done in high repetition in practice. That's literally the rule for young quarterbacks. I don't need for you to be cute. Cute will get you beat. What I need for you to do is do right. Do the right thing all the time. So you get to pay attention to it. It's part of what the evolution of Heinrich Harburg is. I made the statement that he had opportunity to plant his pole in the starting job position. I think he took a step towards it. I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure.
I think the important thing, though, is basically where I was with the quarterback room is I was trying to read what the coaches were telling me, which is despite 7 turnovers, Jeff Sims is that far ahead of every other quarterback that you wouldn't even consider pulling him. Based on what I saw today, and I agreed with that from what I'd seen from Purdy last year and limited what I'd seen from Heinrich Harburg in the spring game, as limited a sample as that is, but, they're there every day, so I have to trust them. What we saw today, I at least feel like that gap isn't as big as I expected, to the point that I think they're going to have I think they should have a healthy competition, probably, to see how this works out. Now, to your point, Jeff Sims could have put, some numbers up tonight too. We don't know. We'll never know. But I do think Harburg showed that he is capable enough, as Matt Rule had said in the past, to win some games for him.
My biggest question coming out of this for the offense is, was this a game plan that was designed to minimize risk for Heinrich Harburg? Or was this was this a game plan that Nebraska learned from the last 2 weeks about? Because it didn't seem like this was the same playbook. We saw some new stuff that makes me wonder if Nebraska was trying to push Jeff Sims. They thought he could do more, so they didn't have it in there. If they thought they wouldn't need it necessarily. Or if this is something that they saw what Jeff Sims' strengths were, and they said, okay, this is where he's struggling. This is where we can help him out. And this is going to be the playbook when he came back. Sims and Harburg, athletically, size-wise, comparable, similar. Big arms, athletic. Heinrich maybe has a little more ability to lower his shoulder than we've seen from Jeff Sims so far. But I almost wonder if this is the type of playbook we see for Jeff Sims when he comes back.
I this is where I waver, because I'm watching some of the schemes, and I real talk, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. This is something that some of the schemes that were being run, I would run with the USA 13 and unders.
Yeah.
Right. Same route combinations, same decision making, 5 run plays in a row to get you from 20 to midfield. And then, now that I've removed myself from danger, now I can go into the passing game. And quite frankly, the keys in these things weren't always right.
No.
Like he missed some layups, bro. There were some, look, I got a little frustrated because Fedoni was running open on the seam on 2 plays that he threw to the sideline, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand running 3 receiver combos to the short side of the field and asking Harburg to make the right decision. You run trips to the other way. You give him options and space.
The field side, not the boundaries.
And right down in the seam. He missed Fedoni twice in big situations, all learnable situations. And you just said, you know what, young fella? Film. Those are lessons. They weren't fatal flaws. You got through it. I do want to watch next week. I almost want to say that, yeah, you can split the schemes. Like, you can game plan for Jeff Sims and game plan for Harburg. My question was, remember, we were told a healthy Chuba was actually playing ahead of Harburg. Harburg was QB3. He wasn't QB2. He was QB3. So a healthy Chuba is still in the question, right? This is an interesting week of football for Nebraska fans.
Chuba's 2 snaps were
I told you that the camera's just gonna look.
11:29, day 2. Who took the over? Who took the under?
We still went through. It's there on a Saturday night, man. Yeah. That fan cam is just gonna have its own life. I just want to point that out. All right, Bob, get us to our first break.
Yeah, once again, Nebraska getting the win tonight, 35-11. We're having fun down here at 11th and our new location, 93.7 The Ticket. We saw something new. We'll probably see something new when we come back on the postgame show on 93.7 The Ticket.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
IT projects piling up again? Managing IT can definitely be frustrating. Whether you have an in-house IT department or you manage it yourself, let Hamilton be your experts. At Hamilton, we take the frustration out of your business tech issues with managed IT solutions. We specialize in co-managed and fully managed IT. Does your business need better managed IT? Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
An energy tip from LES. Schedule a furnace or heat pump check to ensure your heating system runs at its peak efficiency before winter arrives. Learn more easy ways to save at les.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OakStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor at just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street
Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's football season, and that means coaches everywhere are busy making game plans. Hi, my name is Seth Morris with Liberty Law Group. Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we know no two cases are the same. Whether it's a DUI, a criminal charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your unique needs. We are relentless trial attorneys serving all of Nebraska. To learn more, go to libertylawnebraska.com. Again, that's libertylawnebraska.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to the After Party Post Game Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman. We got DP, Derek Pearson next to me, as well as Austin Orman. And as we get through this thing, Nebraska gets the win 35-11 to improve to 1-2 on the year. Go through some numbers real quick. 382 total yards of offense for Nebraska. They held the Northern Illinois to 149, breaking it down. Nebraska at 158 yards passing. Northern Illinois, the Huskies, just 123. Rushing yards, that's a big difference. 224 yards rushing for Nebraska, 26 for, Northern Illinois. Penalties, Nebraska still probably got to work on cleaning that up a little bit. 5 penalties for 70 yards. That's a lot of yardage. Northern Illinois just 2 for 10, 1 turnover each for each team. And shout out to Javen Wright, who got the interception tonight. Of course, we had Toby Wright on, the captain, the other day, and they were talking about kind of his time. He's had to be patient and wait for his opportunity. He's getting playing time. A lot of those guys are getting filtered in and out of there. To get an interception, I know, is going to be big for him and his family right now.
Well, I mean, you remember, Buddha was on the ticket last year. This was the whole thing that was going on. Buddha was there. As a matter of fact, his dad was like, okay, so what do we got to do to get him back on? I went to walk him in the door. But I literally just saw Buddha Friday night on the way to doing an event. And he's like, yeah, I'm back, coach. Like, don't worry, I'm back. What he's done from a skill set conversation, that Javen Wright is part of why the 3-3-5 works. His flexibility, his ability to transition, to adapt on the run, to be hard to identify where he's going to be. Hardest person to block on the field, person you don't know where he's going to be. What Javen does for them, and his length, his speed, And when he walked up to me, I immediately thought, oh my goodness gracious, you put on like 25 pounds. He looked more like a defensive end than a rover. And I just stood there for a minute and went, okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. I told his dad this yesterday. It doesn't matter what he does on playing time. There are things, one, the NFL scouts love him. You don't find 6'5", 6'5.5", 235-pound guys with a legitimate 4.6 speed that can literally play at 3 levels on the field and still hasn't outgrown himself. He's got the DNA code. He won the genetic lottery.
Yeah.
He has the heart, the engine, the motor, high IQ football. Again, somebody that can learn 5 different positions on the field. And then, in spite of sometimes things not going your way, being consistent and showing up. That's what Javen Wright is. That's what he provides to it. He's going to have one of these things that he'll have opportunities. He'll have those JoJo Doman opportunities with some extra opportunities, and it's good to watch.
It's awesome to see him making an impact now that he has the opportunity to. He's in a scheme that's much better tailored, I think, to his abilities, which is big, and he's healthy, and he's staying healthy. And it's one thing if he's a story, but he's not just a story. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker for this defense. I have a feeling he's going to come up big in Big Ten play more than once.
Well, we had scouts that the first thing they said was he could play special. Defense that fall into that category. So it's interesting to see. And then we have to pay attention to who's getting the run. Like today, we didn't see much of Luke Reiner. Right?
Not much Henrich either.
We didn't lean that much on Henrich, right? It's a little different. To see the young players get in and get that flexibility, listen, when we talk about development, we've been begging for development for Nebraska football. We're getting a little bit of it now.
Well, and it also is kind of strange in the post game, and it was good for Matt Rule to do this, I suppose, was giving a lot of credit to the previous coaches. He mentioned many of them by name for bringing along that defense, which is fair and something that I found pretty commendable. I mean, that's you rarely want to bring up the last guy in general. You just kind of want to move on and not think about it, but to at least, credit. And we know, that it's been a tough go at Nebraska the last couple of years. So it would be easy to come in and, take all the credit in the world and say, yeah, this is where we're at because it's us. But for him to go ahead and give that credit, I think it's obviously a lot more refreshing than when Scott Frost came in and was kind of downgrading the previous coaching staff. And I just think Matt Rule's kind of plugged in on some of that stuff. And kind of know, I mean, he's son of a preacher. He knows what to say. But he seems to be doing pretty good at that. And so it just kind of surprised me. Have you seen that in your years of covering college football? Or any sort of throwback? I mean, especially in Game 3 to the previous staff.
The best politician in all of college football, all of them will deflect. Because if you don't, the weight swings back at you. It is the swing of college football, that if you take credit for something you didn't build, it'll come back to you. If you deflect, it'll come back to you. What he needed to say was simply this: we did what we were supposed to do against the team we were supposed to do it against. We'll get another chance next week. When you go into it's in the details that you start to have problems, and that's something that the fan base, they're done with coach speak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that I would want to refer back. Like salt in the wound. Don't bring up what it was. Remember, this is the same coach that a couple of weeks ago said, look, we don't want to look back. We don't ever want to look back. We hate talking about it. Okay, so if you hate talking about it, then why are you talking about it? Like there's something in it. You just have to figure out what that is. It's win Saturday. That's all you got to talk about. That the players who busted their humps for you, who went through the training camp and the dorms and went through all that, went through Minnesota, a winnable game that you didn't complete the task. Colorado and all of its chaos and all of its pomp and circumstance, all of that, and then you got home in front of 90,000 and the crowd showed up. Big win. They were connected. Big win. and then you produced and were effective. Big win. That's all. The rest of that stuff we didn't even need to talk about.
It's funny because Matt Rule, son of a preacher, opening press conference speech, all that sort of stuff. The hardest lesson you might have to learn is saying less is okay. We, generally speaking, got on Scott Frost for no opening statement at Big Ten Media Days. Ugh. Maybe the way that was handled, right, wrong, whatever. And
keep in mind, he went into a room of guys that bullied him for 5 years. So he
purpose of you being there. The sole reason you got all the money you got literally was the Big Ten media circus that it is. Literally, that new house and all the bills. That's what it was for. And it was an opportunity for you to stand up, suck it up for the rest of for the entire conference. Because this is the first look, us local media, we were like, we know Scott. Like, okay, we weren't surprised. It's the one opportunity for everybody else to meet Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like that's what that was for. It wasn't for us to judge or otherwise. It was an opportunity for the rest of the country in its Big Ten form to meet Nebraska.
It's the State of the Union address.
And you went and said, nah.
No.
Nah. So I'm on the other side. Like like the Matt Rule, hey, you know what? Matt Rule's the opposite.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's meet Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like,
this is my time to shine. Give me a mic. This is my time to shine.
But there's a middle ground, right? You can. Matt Rule's biggest lesson might be, how do I dress up coach speak? How do I say less but make it sound better?
Is
that a lesson that's learnable?
Who in the Big Ten Conference is the middle of the road? Who's in the middle? Is it Harburg? I mean, is it Harbaugh?
No.
Is it Harbaugh?
No.
A lot of love being shown.
Harbaugh's weird. Harbaugh does his talking. Dare I say Ryan Day?
Ryan Day is, yeah.
There you go.
11:44. 11:44 day 2.
We're getting distracted.
That's so good. That's so good. Like he literally pondered. She caught herself. She was like, Mom, Dad's probably watching. That tuition check still needs to go through. Make sure it's there. Yeah, is it? I mean, is it Harbaugh? Is he the middle of the road for Big Ten? Like you have the extremes. You have the PJ Flex, who the light comes on and man, action, and they go.
I think that's Harbaugh. Harbaugh gives me that vibe.
Right? Like
but Harbaugh's always got something to say. If he can get
that's why I think it's Day. His program is good enough where he doesn't have to say a lot. He had more questions to answer this year. He can coach speak his way out of it. I really think it's Day. Franklin, when he's down to businesses like that, Franklin can be opinionated, but Big Ten Media Day Franklin.
Like James Franklin thinks
when
he's
he wants
the closer.
To be.
Like
when he wants to.
He literally thinks that the Big Ten Media is for him. Like he's just like everybody else just have. Oh, I know Ohio State and Michigan are coming, but we're here now. Let's go. Like I get that. Him and PJ Fleck really think that this is them.
Was it Paul Christ?
Paul Christ was
back in the day.
Christ was it? Yeah.
Was it Paul Christ?
It might be Schiano.
Yeah.
Schiano might be middle of the road. Like it might be like. It's there. Look what yeah, we got you. Look at that. Look at your boy. Look at him. You see him blush over here? What is happening?
If we take this post-game show a few more hours, we're going to get all sorts of characters.
Well, this is literally why we think we're going to run this thing long. Like, look, and here's the other thing. That you noticed Austin didn't show the wedding ring until after she left.
No, I tried.
He flashed it to us, not to her. Like,
hey, don't get Austin in trouble over there.
No. All bets are look. Everything is live for radio. Everything is live.
Camera doesn't tell any lies. There's nothing we can do about any of this.
Like she'll check the time code. They were waving at 11:46 and 11:47 is when you showed the ring. It's spectacular. This is the beauty of it all. This is why we do what we're doing and where we're doing it. And we kind of understand that for entertainment purposes. Look, we've been carrying the torch for a long time in entertaining Lincoln. Now we think it's wonderful that other people get to entertain us. It's special. Was there anything that jumped out to both of you as a sign, the ultimate sign that this could be a good Nebraska team? Like, is there something that gives you hope outside of just Tony White and the energy and what's been done? Is there anything that jumps out to you as sincerely a thing that could be the difference between bad Nebraska football and good?
I mean, I still think a lot of the optimism is just that, the defensive side of the ball, like you said. But I do think Fedoni is coming along. I think that finding your tight ends can help. They're going to need to find who that guy is, and they did. They kind of got it in the mix a little bit. Washington got a big play there at the end. Billy Kemp was a little bit involved once again in this game. But Fedoni kind of stands out to me, and he did get the touchdown, so maybe that's what it is. But he is progressing, and he's a feisty guy. I mean, if you've watched some of the tape, he's been, if you watch him knock over Travis Hunter, he's out there, hunting at times, but also to be a good pass catcher. And he's the guy that obviously we've all looked at and said he's got a high upside. If he can kind of bring that to the table, if he can continue developing, he could be a difference maker. And it kind of goes back to what you were asking earlier about, kind of who stood out, who's the best player in the team. I don't think you have that on offense right now. And so I think that they're still looking for who that guy might be. And I guess that's where I would go for a little bit of hope out of this game.
Austin?
I would say I'm going to go back to past years to inform the present. Did Nebraska look this good against North Dakota last year? No. That game was a grind until late third quarter.
Yeah, that game was terrible.
2021. Did Nebraska look this good against Buffalo?
Yeah.
28-3? I don't think so. Right. That was a rough game.
Should have been 56-3. Yeah, they had 20 problems.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. 2019, Nebraska opens up with South Alabama, takes the special teams and a defensive touchdown to win that game. You do beat Northern Illinois 44-8, but Nebraska hasn't controlled a game like this against an opponent it should have in a long time. I'm not saying it's necessarily illustrative, again, because of the relative quality, but at least they proved they could do it. Now, can you do it against Illinois on a Friday on a short week? Can you do it against Northwestern coming out of a bye week? Can you do it against Purdue? Those are the teams that I think this season will really hinge on for this team. They proved they were capable for a night. You don't want to overreact to one game, positive or negative.
Oh, we're all about the overreaction.
Some people are. I'm going to try not to.
100% about the overreaction.
So, yes, there are signs that Nebraska can do it because they did it tonight. But now the next test is, can you do it again?
Do we know the identity of this team?
I think it's sort of a forced identity, but yeah. I mean, I think it's playing complementary football to that defense.
I'm not fully sold. Again, I think I know what they want to do, but as soon as I think they know what they want to do, they go away from it for a couple plays too long.
I still don't, we don't know who the best player is.
No.
We don't know what their best play is. Because
I'm starting to find that. I have an idea.
If we're honest, it's fake, all verts quarterback draw.
Yeah.
That's almost guaranteed to be the best play, right? That's its best offensive play. I can't make that up.
Probably, but I would say the last couple games, especially the play where the quarterback opens up and then hands it off going the other way, that's been a solid 5-6 yards per carry for Nebraska.
But the quarterback draw has been the plus 9 yards every time they run it, no matter who was a quarterback.
But if you can get 6 yards on that play with your tailback?
But you only call it 3 times a game.
So call it more.
I'm still stunned. It's still, think of it in all 3 games, right? And I think it's all 3 games where the quarterbacks had more carries than the running backs combined. This is the Big Ten Conference.
So Harburg had 21, Irvin, Grant, Lubin combined for 22.
Add in Lubin's.
Well, 21 with sacks or negative plays.
Yeah, we're not counting Lubin, right?
I mean, either case, you're right. It's 50-50 at best.
Yeah.
Is that a recipe for success?
I don't think so. Not long term. And I've beat that drum for years now.
And so that's the best play has been, because as coaches, you call your best play one in the moments you're insecure, right? That you're not sure of what, and then the moments of ultimate confidence, and then in the most critical moments. That's the only way the math. That's the only way it adds up. Is that the best play has been the quarterback running the football. And I'm just not sure that's built for Big Ten success.
So my question to you then is this. Do you continue to do it because it's at least
So you've had success at running your quarterback. I still am on the side that it is a tough existence. Mm-hmm. It's a brutal way, especially in the meat grinder Big Ten conference. We're in week 3, and we know what all 3 quarterbacks look like, and we're still putting the burden on them. I'm not there yet. Like, I'm not yet. I wanna just throw confetti and march up and down O Street. Right? That's what I want to do. Blow the whistle, get the little horn that you blow, and it unfurls and furls. Yep, I want to do that. And we can do that tonight. And we can probably do it next week. I don't want to talk about it after that. Because after that is grown man football.
Maybe the most grown man football.
We're about to Michigan and find out.
Straight up.
We're about to Michigan and find out. Louisiana Tech's coming, a chance to build, a chance to grow beyond this, get the win, move forward, advance. You're smarter than you were. Now let's see what it is. Here comes Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, we better throw it to break. We are here on the After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket. Having a lot of fun, still discussing kind of the future and kind of what this game means in and of itself and what we have looking forward to against Louisiana Tech next week. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more After Party Postgame Show here on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Teryx and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule, or looking to dominate adventure in a Teryx, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid from 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Bagels & Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in September. Try their new pizza bagel with pepperoni and fresh mozzarella grilled on a sun-dried tomato bagel. And try their Karma Latte, as 10% of proceeds from that drink will go to the Great Plains Trail Network. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and our big fall sales underway, and the new truck incentives are off the charts. Over $5,000 in discounts on select new Sierras and Silverados, and 0.9% interest rates. Yes, you heard right. $5,000 off, 0.9% interest rates on select new trucks here at Coppell. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street and check out that great small-town vibe with big city deals. We look forward to seeing you, or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nick is here. What'd you call him earlier? Yeah, he had a name. He said a name. Can you hear Nick?
I said you look like a big swimming pool. You look like a big swimming pool over there. I called you Big Swim.
Big Swim.
All right. Should I tell the people what you called me the second week that I have
No, don't hang that over my head.
Track record here.
Early. .37 The Ticket.
We're back here on the After Party Post Game Show, celebrating a 35-11 win for Nebraska as they improved to 1-2, knocking off Northern Illinois. Who falls to 1-2 tonight. So both teams 1-2, I suppose, coming out of the buildings. But for Nebraska, it's their first win on the season. Feeling pretty good. Heinrich Harburg stepped in his role. Of course, Jeff Sims looked like he would have could have played maybe if there was an emergency. He did suit up, but they decided to hold him out. And Heinrich Harburg did fairly well for stepping in. 14-24, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, as well as 21 carries, 98 yards on the ground. A touchdown there as well. A few guys I did want to ask you guys about and get kind of your thoughts. One, Anthony Grant. We saw him back, did not get a snap last week. I kind of was questioning that. Maybe would have liked to seen him get that. But, of course, he had that late fumble against Minnesota. They talked about his fumbling issues in camp. 7 carries, 46 yards, including a touchdown. Was this the type of performance you think that will get him more carries down the line?
Better, as much as Matt Rule stomped that sideline. Like he was snorting and stomping and trying to get Grant going. We forget that's 900 yards. That's a 900-yard rush in the Big Ten Conference. Like we know what we know about Anthony Grant. I didn't find as much curiosity about whether he could produce as some folks around. If he's running back 1A, you're in a good spot. If he's running back 1B, you're in a better spot because it means your 1A is truly legit. So use them. This is an offense that's not good enough to not use talented skill players. And you better figure out how to get him the ball as he wants it, how he wants it, so that one fumble isn't fatal. Mm-hmm. Protect him. Like my whole issue with the Anthony Grant thing was that you put him in the game in a situation where ball control is the thing. It wasn't yardage. It wasn't that you needed to break and bust a big play. No, you were up 7 and gave him the ball in a situation where you knew he was struggling. That's bad. That's bad decision making. Okay, put him in. It's the coach's job to put him in a position to do things that he can do well and gain success.
This is, again, he proved capable. He held on to the ball, right? He did what he was asked to do. 7 carries for 46 yards, held on to the ball. Nice cut on the touchdown run, made a nice decision to catch out of the backfield for 9 yards.
Almost manslaughtered a defensive back.
And told him about it.
And did tell him
about it. So I think it's important that he does get on the field. I think he and Gabe Ervin can be a nice 1-2 punch in whatever order. They bring different things to the table, I think we saw tonight, and I think it's important to have guys that can handle an every down role, but maybe do things slightly differently.
That is the mother of all trailers.
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Look at that thing, Block. Look at that thing.
That is huge.
That's a block long, man. What is going on? That thing is huge. What do you do? Like, who?
Oh man, they got a like a hot tub in there or something.
Like,
I don't know what they're gonna,
is that
bowling alley?
He brought his basketball court with him. That thing's phenomenal. Like in every other quality Big Ten program, when you have a 900-yard rusher as your 1B, you are Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State,
Edwards, Corum, Allen, Singleton,
right? Literally,
Henderson sort of
literally,
stuff. Yeah.
it's the playbook for Big Ten success at a high level. Anywhere else, here it's a problem, and we don't know how to deal with it. Like, it's an embarrassment of riches. Let's go. It's an embarrassment. I mean, Bob, think about seriously. In an offense that struggles to gain yardage running the ball, your backup running back is a 900-yard rusher in the Big Ten Conference.
Behind the same offensive line.
But legitimately the same offensive line. Come on. Like, figure it out.
I think it's also important to note that Ramir Johnson was in street clothes for the second half. Gabe Ervin also came out of the game. Might be a good thing for Nebraska.
It's good for Anthony Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Bad for defenses, apparently. But problematic for the coaching staff. Like, I just, if you have an offense that puts up 40 points a game, you can then put people on the sideline and tell them to chill. If you're averaging 11 points a game, 12 points a game, guess what? You need your dude out there. If the dude can produce, and again, give him the 900-yard rusher is getting the ball half as much as a first-time starting quarterback. I just want to, like, it's math to me. It's math to me. I just you want to be sure. Yes, 100-yard rushing quarterback, bravo. Beat up quarterbacks have lower passer efficiency. It's just the thing. Like, it's just the thing. So what do you want? And it's okay if you decide you need your running quarterback, but you're taking carries away from dudes who are built for it.
Yeah, that's their job to do it.
Well,
quarterbacks have so much else on his plate.
Yeah, Irvin carried 300 times in high school. Like, so did Grant. Like, what do you?
Well, and Grant was JUCO Player of the Year as well.
Now,
let's not forget that.
Marcus, here's two thoughts here. One is that Grant could have easily been our answer, at least preseason, for who's the best player on the field. We asked that earlier. He would have been that guy.
Him or Irvin would have been fine. Yeah. Answers 1A and 1B.
But the one thing I do think of, and I always go back to this, is when when Satterfield was talking about, he went as far as to call running from his quarterback tonight, Heinrich Harburg, a superpower. So that's what they believe they have in Heinrich Harburg, is a superpower with him running the ball. I think it'll take a kind of a different mentality if that's the way you're going to go about it. Like you said, I mean, we've seen our quarterbacks get banged up over the years here in the Big Ten. Maybe if you kind of lean into, hey, there used to be an offense called the option run around here where guys got banged up every other play, but you really have to get into that mind frame. That'd be like a program decision. You'd recruit different type of guys.
But there's also a thing called a pipeline. There was like you remember when they rushed like that?
They weren't just getting whacked left and right.
Actually, I don't, because I wasn't old enough to remember.
Those
don't make us cry.
You weren't old enough for the American Revolution. You know it just fine. You know it just fine. You also know that. Look, Tommy Frazier can tell you about all them big dudes that bang for him. Like, all of those future NFL guys, those guys that they name trophies after, those guys that are on the Ring of Honor. We don't have any of that right now. So again, that tells me that you're using disposable talent, which is a terrible thing to say, but it is acknowledgement, right? That, we'll put the next one in. Put the next one in.
I want to go back to something Bach said about, it would change how you recruit. We talk about identity. Did Nebraska find us tonight? Did they find something to build on? Maybe not in the course of this season, but who's Nebraska's quarterback recruit in the class of 2024? Kid by the name of Daniel Kalen.
Mm-hmm.
Looks different, plays different than Heinrich Harburg. Looks different, plays different than Jeff Sims. Looks similar, plays different to Chubba Purdy.
Who's your guy?
Where's the symmetry? Where's the through line? If you're building a program, why are you doing this year one if that's not where you want to go long term?
You're asking all the right questions. You're asking all because the receivers that you currently have don't look like the freshman class.
Yeah.
No.
They don't look like them. They don't play like them. They don't run like them. They don't. Like we know that. Running backs. You got 3 different runners with 3 different prototypes. And running back 4, we saw today, don't look like none of the other 3. So what do you, again, character, identity, culture. Those are things in the branding that Matt Rule talked about. It's identifiable, and it has to be so that you can consistently make the same statement. I don't know what it is yet. I'm looking forward to it. We know more than that. It's the difference between team and program.
Huge difference.
This year, the roster is a team. You don't have a program right now. You don't have a program because a program requires standard, North Star, and balance. You don't have those. And I'm not sure how you get it. As Austin said, if the guy that, and this is Kalen officially Matt Rule's?
Yes. He was a Matt Rule recruit.
Right? So if that's the case, I'm going to really believe you. Like, I'm going to believe you that Kalen's the guy.
I think it's important to note, too, you won't have a program after this season. You won't have a program after next season. You might have one starting in 3 years, but if you have to say we have a program, you don't have a program. Other people will tell you you have a program, it's established, you have an identity because of how they talk about you when it comes to their preparation for you, when it comes to how they talk about recruiting against you, scheming against you, stuff like that. You can't have a program overnight, right? You can have an idea for one, but you prove you have a program.
Have it if it's successful. Success builds the program.
It does, but you have to prove it game in, game out, week in, week out.
That's just it. If you're winning, if Nebraska wins, if Matt Rule wins in season 1, the beginning of the program existing happens. But
you point back to it. You don't say it now.
Right. And here's the thing. I'm just not sure we still know who this is.
We don't.
One more guy I wanted to get to because not a whole lot of gadget plays, as we mentioned tonight. One of them that they did got them in trouble. They did a reverse to Tommy Hill. They lost 5 yards. Then that was the play before the fumble, which ended up giving the 3 points. Tommy Hill is clearly a guy that they see. Well, we talked about it. They don't have a breakaway speed on offense. He's kind of their guy that they're hoping they can do it. We've seen several deep shots to him. I don't have a problem with necessarily deep shots to him. We also see him obviously mixing on cornerback as well. This is more about the offensive inclusion of Tommy Hill. Is this going to work, or is this going to be 2 or 3 times a game we see a shot for Tommy Hill and that's about it? Because when he's brought into the game, he's not used much as a decoy. When he's brought into the game, they go to Tommy.
Malachi Coleman.
Well, I'm going to say Lloyd because he got on the field first. He got that 9-yard reverse at Minnesota, so they must trust him more than they did before. So I'm just going to use Jalen Lloyd, throw Malachi Coleman into that conversation if you want. But why not get those guys out on the field? Build that program with those guys. Why Tommy Hill?
I'm terribly vexed by the fact that Billy Kemp is your most explosive kick returner and punt returner, and yet you won't give the ball an open field ever. Like, that would be you telling me that the guy who returns punts for you, your best open field runner. That's the definition of a punt returner, right? Secure with the ball and explosive in space. I don't know. You could have run every situation and circumstance you ran for Tommy Hill. You could have ran for Billy Kemp.
Yeah.
You're a single-digit guy.
Is Billy Kemp
your North Star guy? Yeah, that dude.
You're a Virginia guy. Is Billy Kemp a deep guy, or does Billy Kemp need a deep guy to take the top off to give him more space to operate over the middle?
Billy Kemp needs somebody to give him the ball. Like he got he got the touchdown, but there were two route combinations where he was receiver one, and he almost got his head taken off because the ball was thrown behind him.
Yeah.
Look, they will do a study of the throws that Harburg made. Go back and look at those 24 throws. Go back and look. We got some stuff to work on.
Yeah.
Billy Kemp can do what you're asking Tommy Hill to do. I would imagine so, because we haven't really had Tommy do anything. You tried to do some things, right? You went deep to him. Have we hit any of the big balls?
Not one.
No.
Not one, right? Are you telling me that if we put Malachi out there to run big, that he wouldn't have got to any of those balls? Well, we don't know, because we didn't try. We didn't try. So I don't know.
There goes Josiah Alec on a scooter.
Yeah,
window.
he's hard to miss, isn't he?
Yeah, right? It's like, hey.
That's definitely Josiah Alec.
right? He went to the game in the striped overall.
Him and Sam and Rink.
Yeah. Looking the part. 100% looking the part. I'm always in the thought that if you're gonna be a target, you have to be a decoy first. There's no purpose behind it.
You got to be willing to do the dirty work to get the glory, right? To some degree.
Well, fullbacks understand no block, no rock. So if the only time you come to the game is to get the ball, well, you've lowered the effective rate. So I got to put you out there. And again, this is an offense that doesn't have enough offensive talent and enough offensive production to burn plays. Like, they can't do it. So then you just got to put them out there and go, okay, bro, this is what we need right here. But to my recollection, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not had a successful play with Tommy Hill in the game.
No.
Is that?
Not that I can think of.
There was one big play with Tommy Hill in the game. Problem was it was for Colorado. Sorry, it's like cheap shot.
Yeah,
sorry.
And that's not a push against Tommy Hill.
No,
that's just in usage, scheme, and thought. And again, at some point, this gives Marcus Satterfield a couple of days to exhale, because if they didn't put up 35 points tonight, he'd have some questions to answer. He's still going to have questions. They're different questions tonight than they were 2 days ago.
Yeah, Nebraska once again getting the win tonight, 35-11 over Northern Illinois. We'll have to wait till next Saturday. That's the only bad part about college football. You got to wait a whole nother week, unless, like you said earlier, maybe the short week for Illinois or Iowa down the line. But we're going to have to wait another week. 2:30 kickoff against Louisiana Tech. Kind of the hope is kind of a similar product to what you saw today. Of course, a lot of it's going to be, and a lot of the discussion is going to be who starts at quarterback.
I think health will dictate.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech is a fascinating opponent because they have someone closer to Northern Illinois' quarterback with Colorado's skill talent.
Okay.
That's what we watch.
That's usually the way that works. So it'll be an interesting week. Another chance to go 1-0. That's all. That's all we're shooting for.
Yeah, we got an exciting week, and of course, it all starts tomorrow. Plenty of programming here on the ticket, but we're going to wrap it up for the night. Thanks for listening to Husker After Party Post-Game Show with myself, DP, and Oster Orman. We'll do it again next week. Thanks again, guys. And stay tuned to the ticket throughout the week. We'll get you prepared for next week.